Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into a really fundamental reason why so many AI projects and service organizations just seem to stumble. And here's the spoiler, it's a structural issue, not a personal one. Understanding this is absolutely the first step to getting it right. So if you're a leader in a service organization, does this sound familiar? That nagging thought, that pressure to be further along with AI is just immense, right? You see all the headlines, and you can't help but wonder if you're the one who's missing something. Well, what if I told you that feeling, while totally common, is actually based on a really flawed assumption? The issue isn't about your team's capability, and it's not about your mindset. It's about the very nature of the work you do. So let's reframe this pressure, shall we? The problem isn't some personal failure of vision. It's actually a structural error that's kind of baked into the way most service organizations are run. Yeah, the real issue is hiding in the invisible blueprint, the basic operating logic that your organization is following. The problem isn't you, it's the structure. Okay, now let's get right to the heart of the structural problem. It's what you could call a hidden cognitive error. It shapes how most service organizations operate, and a lot of the time, nobody even notices it's there. And that brings up a really critical question. What if the real challenge isn't about buying the shiniest new AI tools? What if it's about realizing that you've been using the wrong rulebook for your entire operation all along? And here it is. The core cognitive error is this. We're managing services with the logic of products. But as we're about to see, these two things operate under completely different rules. To really get why this is such a huge mistake, we have to draw a very clear line between these two worlds. And the difference is so much deeper than just tangible versus intangible. It has massive implications for how we use AI. Okay, so a product, think of a hammer or even a piece of software. It's essentially a bundle of stable functions. You buy it, you own it, and you can use those functions over and over and over again. Its value is in that repeatable utility. But a service, that's a whole different animal. It delivers a one-time, fleeting benefit. The classic example is a taxi ride. Its only purpose is to change your state, your location. The second you arrive, that benefit has been delivered and consumed. It's gone. You can't store it or reuse it. It only exists in the exact moment it's being rendered. This table just lays out two completely separate universes. On one side, you have the world of production. It happens in a closed, controlled environment, totally separate from the customer. But on the other side, you have servuction, the delivery of a service. And this world is fundamentally open. The customer isn't some passive buyer waiting at the end. They are an active participant in creating the value. The researchers who actually came up with that term, servuction, they put it perfectly. Production is all about making storable things. Servuction is about rendering a service that's co-created and consumed in the very same moment. We're talking about two fundamentally different logics here. Okay, so let's bring this all back to AI. Because this deep structural misunderstanding, treating services with a product mindset, it has huge consequences when you try to introduce a powerful technology like artificial intelligence into the mix. You see, AI doesn't invent its own logic. It's just a very, very powerful amplifier. It takes the operating model you give it, and it just scales it, for better or for worse. It can't fix a broken model. All it does is make that broken model run much, much faster. So here's the crucial point. If you apply AI to a service operation that's being managed like a product factory, what do you think you get? You don't scale success. You scale the errors. You automate the inconsistencies. You amplify all the fundamental flaws that were already in your blueprint to begin with. So this leads us to a really clear and, I think for many leaders, a very relieving conclusion about how to move forward. It's about a shift from frantic action to deliberate, careful design. The guiding principle that comes out of all of this is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Before you rush to implement AI tools, you must first build a proper service architecture. That's a blueprint designed for the unique logic of services, not products. And look, this isn't just some abstract problem. Structure is designable. Roles, responsibilities, and outcomes, they can all be clearly defined using the logic of service delivery. When services are properly built, leadership becomes manageable again. It's all about getting your orientation right before you slam your foot on the accelerator. So, if you've been feeling that pressure to be further along, just remember this. The problem isn't a lack of competence. It's not you, and it's not your team. The problem is a lack of service architecture. You've been trying to build a skyscraper on a blueprint that was designed for a factory. The good news? Blueprints can be changed. And once you change the blueprint, you completely change what's possible.